Welcome into OutKick the show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I hope all of you are having fantastic Wednesdays wherever you may be across the country or around the world. We got a bunch of stories to dive into. NFL college football playoffs underway. John Harbaugh fired, shockingly. We got an FS1 show that will be on a little bit later today at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. All of that headed your direction. But we've got a bunch of stories to hit in the NFL college football. The continued fallout of the portal, which is just an unbelievable catastrophe of a mess, we will discuss. And Greenland, Venezuela, and a shooting in Minneapolis that is currently at the top of the news. But we begin with the college football transfer portal and what an unrestricted mess it is. In particular, Washington quarterback Damon Williams is trying to leave Washington despite the fact that he reportedly just a few days ago agreed to a substantial salary increase as a part of the NIL contract that he entered into with Washington. So, this is why I went to law school, evidently. This is turning into a huge mess for every school across the entirety of the country. And the reality is, basically, there are no contracts at all that exist in college athletics right now. People say, what do you mean by that, Clay? For a long time, and I've been on this for a very, very long time, for a long time, it was the case in college football, and still is, and college basketball, college sports in general, that if you wanted to leave the job that you have right now and take another job, you could just do it. And the example I always used to use was if Nick Saban wanted to walk out tomorrow and become the head coach of Auburn, that was permissible. He could do it. Even though at the time he was the head coach of Alabama. And I would always say this is ridiculous because most places you have a non-compete. And I would use myself as an example. I have a radio contract right now. And I couldn't just tomorrow walk out on my radio contract and show up on a different channel for a different period of time. And back in the day, I used to have a non-compete. So when I did local sports talk radio, I would have to sit out for 6 months if I left my local Nashville sports talk radio show and just went to another station. They would require me to be unpaid and sit out for 6 months as a part of the draconian, indefensible contracts that we would sign. And I always used to say, I make almost no money. I talk about sports for a living. And somehow I have a more restrictive contract than every college coach in America. And I would always point out how absurd that was and the fact that it didn't exist anywhere else. You can't leave an NFL job and take another NFL job if you're still under contract. Same thing with NBA, all the other major contracts out there, all the other major sports leagues. Right now, we have a completely unregulatable, unrestricted perpetual free agency in college sports. There is no contract that has any value at all. You can, in the space of 5 years, theoretically play for 5 different college teams. You can play for Auburn 1 year, Alabama the next year, Tennessee the next year, LSU the year after that, and then you can go to, Georgia. You can play for 5 different schools right now in 5 different years. There's no transfer restrictions. There seems to be virtually no requirements when it comes to college credits, right? You could never graduate from a college if you went to 4 or 5 different colleges in 5 years. Your credits wouldn't transfer. The overall setup of the majors wouldn't overlap perfectly. But that's where we are. And so the University of Washington thought they had agreed with their quarterback to a new extension that was going to keep him there. And he just posted on Instagram, hey, I'm out. And now Washington says, well, we're going to try to restrict him. Here's the problem. You can't get specific performance in these contracts. Specific performance means Washington can't mandate that he show up and play quarterback for them or for anybody else. So the only way you can have damages is you're going to have monetary damages. But that means that you're going to have to file a lawsuit, injunctions, everything else. the NCAA is afraid to have any rules because everybody immediately files a lawsuit and says this is an antitrust violation. So the end result right now is we have something that has never existed in the history of athletics in my entire life. We have no contracts, and we have perpetual free agency every single year. We're about to have the NFL draft in May. If you're a first-round NFL player, you are restricted for guaranteed 4 years. You're going to end up restricted by 5 years if the option is signed on to by the team, as it often is. In other words, if they pick up your option, you can't go anywhere for 5 years. You are restricted under the contract. There's no contract. So a lot of people say, okay, Clay, what's going on here? How does this happen? Why is, thousands of kids are in the transfer portal right now in college football. Entire rosters are being remade. What is going on? The answer is, there is no contractual obligation that is restricting in any way any of the guys from being restricted in any way from their movement. And so we're going to have to eventually, I've been saying this for a long time, eventually this is not going to continue, right? We cannot have completely unregulated free agency in college athletics. It's primarily occurring in football and men's basketball because that's where the most value is. But in theory, I presume that this applies everywhere: track, swimming, soccer, you name the sport. I presume that anybody can leave at any point in time. And so eventually this is going to give up the ghost. But right now, the NCAA is so afraid of being sued for antitrust, and the conferences are so afraid of being sued for antitrust, that effectively there is no contract, there is no salary cap, and there are a lot of guys that are going to make more money playing college football than they would playing in the NFL. And that's crazy. There are a lot of guys making more money in college basketball than they would in the NBA. And I think most of you say this is a broken system. I agree. We're going to have a resolution, and at some point there will be changes. But in the meantime, you got guys like Brendan Sorsby going to make $5 million plus from Texas Tech to play for 1 year, maybe 2 years, whoever the setup is there. And it's just broken. And so people want to get fired up. They want to get angry about it. I think everybody out there recognizes that it's not an ideal system, but there is no immediate resolution. What do I think is going to happen? I probably need to have some more of these long-form sit-downs. Ultimately, there's going to have to be a collective bargaining agreement, which is, a couple of things can happen. One, Congress can just say to the NCAA, hey, we are going to give you a antitrust exemption. Therefore, you can't be sued for the rules that you promulgate to put in place for your sport. That is one possibility. Congress could pass a law. If you think Congress is going to pass a law to solve anything, good luck. Another possibility is eventually you're going to have a collective bargaining agreement. You're going to have some form of players' union that is put in place. Everybody comes together. They agree to a collective bargaining agreement. Collective bargaining agreements have antitrust exemptions. That is challenging because public sector unions in 50 different states are complicated. The laws about unions are complicated. So you just got a huge mess. But I think ultimately you're going to have a salary cap. You're going to have standardized rules as it pertains to transfers, all of that. Right now it's the Wild West. It's broken, and I think it is going to continue to be a mess going forward. So that is my latest take there. College football playoff. What do I think is going to happen? I'm going to talk about this in detail with Kelly Stewart. We have got a show coming up, The Fade, with her for both the wild card round in the NFL as well as college football. Look, I think that we are going to get two really awesome games. I cannot wait Thursday, and I can't wait Friday, and then we got games Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's about as good as it gets. I think that Ole Miss is going to cover against Miami. I kind of like the over in that game, I think, but I like Ole Miss to cover. And then I like Indiana to cover the 3 and to beat Oregon. So that is my prediction about where we are headed there. By the way, Ty Simpson has announced that he is going to go pro. Alabama's quarterback, great year early in the year, faded late. They could not run the ball. They couldn't protect him. He got injured. I think Ty Simpson's going to be the third pick for quarterbacks. Somebody will fall in love with Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore. They will be 1-2. And then I think Ty Simpson will be the third quarterback. There'll be at least 3 quarterbacks that go in the first round. Reports out there that the Rams may love Ty Simpson, that Sean McVay and Les Snead like what they have seen from Ty Simpson. They need at some point a younger player to replace Matthew Stafford. If you were asking me, kind of, give a forecast a little bit of where you think Ty Simpson might end up, I might say the Rams, because I think it's possible that they go get him late in the first round, bring him in as their groomed successor, in theory, for Matthew Stafford. So that is the news that is out there as it pertains to that. NFL playoffs, I'm going to dive all into this in just a little bit with Kelly Stewart, break down every game, tell you what I think about the picks. We've already done this on the OutKick show, which will be on FS1 as well. You can check that out when you get an opportunity to check it all out. Let's see. A couple of things that are out there. I want to tell you, we got PrizePicks. I love PrizePicks. They're now available in all 50 states. You can get hooked up with PrizePicks. You use code OutKick. $50 in your account deposited when you play $5. I already gave you a quarterback pick, 7.5 to 1 payout that is going to be on the OutKick show on FS1. I've given it to you on Clay and Buck as well. And also you can get our picks there. We got a couple of them if you would text it to me. I had it on my screen a minute ago. I now do not have them. But if we could... if I could get that, that would be great. Couple of running backs that I think are going to be able to have some success out there. Super simple, easy pick for you. Christian McCaffrey, more than 1/2 rushing or receiving touchdown. And James Cook, more than 1/2 rushing and receiving touchdown. Pays a little bit over 2 to 1, 2.75 to 1. In fact, go get hooked up right now. PrizePicks.com, code OutKick. That is PrizePicks.com, code OutKick. Get hooked up today. John Harbaugh out. President Trump says that John Harbaugh should be hired as soon as possible. I expect that will happen. Very surprising. To me, that John Harbaugh was fired when you look at his past success. I flagged this because I saw Tony Dungy grabbed it, and I thought it was interesting. Here's what Tony Dungy said. I can't believe what things have come to. John Harbaugh has coached the Baltimore Ravens for 18 years. He took them to the playoffs 12 times, won a Super Bowl. Last 4 years, they were 10-7, 13-4, 12-5, 8-9. They made the playoffs 3 straight years, missed this year because their kicker missed the game-winning field goal on the last play of the season, and he was fired. I'm sorry. I don't understand. Good luck, Baltimore, finding a better coach. That is Tony Dungy. President Trump, you can pop that up on the screen if you haven't already, has said as well that he thinks that John Harbaugh is a winner and that he should be hired sooner rather than later. I think that is very likely to end up happening. All right. Let's go. A couple of other things. Seriously. Right now, as I am talking to you, there are potentially riots. I'm checking my phone. Obviously, I don't have my televisions up, but the riots have begun in Minneapolis over an ICE shooting. The ICE shooting, I think, was justified. I've shared the videos. You can go watch it yourself. But I think that Mayor Jacob Fry and Tim Walz, the mayor of Minneapolis, the governor of Minnesota, they are going to try to bring charges because they have somehow decided that ICE are bad guys and they want to encourage everyone out there to engage in violent acts surrounding them. This is entirely the wrong message. Let me be straightforward, transparent, as clear as possible. Your job isn't to do anything to ICE. Your job isn't to do anything to infringe upon ICE being able to do their job. Your job is not in any way to engage law enforcement. Your job is to be a law-abiding citizen, and that means that you do not infringe or impinge upon ICE doing their lawfully adjudicated jobs. What is their job? Their job is to remove people who are illegally in this country. There are, according to Tom Homan, who told me specifically directly this past year, he said he thinks there are 20 million illegals in this country. That was Tom Homan's number. Tom Homan told me that he thinks some people are voluntarily deciding to leave, and there are reports out there that maybe as many as 2 million illegals have decided to voluntarily remove themselves. Around 600,000 people have been arrested and taken out of our country for violating the law. In Minneapolis, where there is a huge illegal population, ICE is there doing raids, helping to investigate fraud that has been perpetrated against taxpayers there. And I don't know anything about the woman, except she's 37 years old, that was shot. And she decided that she was going to show up and try to stop ICE from doing their job. When they asked her to get out of her car, she accelerated in the vehicle in the direction of an ICE agent. You can watch the videos yourselves. And the ICE agent opened fire and killed the woman. I would guarantee you that the federal government is going to say this is justified. Based on the videos that I have seen, it seems quite clear that he was in fear of danger and death, potentially, based on that driver who should have never been there, who was following the lead of crazy people on the left in this country who have somehow decided that they want to tell everyone that they should go to try to infringe or impinge upon ICE's ability to do their jobs. And as a result, now she's dead. This is a natural, unfortunate result of what we saw took place that was completely unjustified in encouragement when it comes to people there, to encourage them to try to get in the way of ICE. A couple of other stories, and then I'm out for the Fade show. And again, encourage you to watch the FS1 program. There's talk about buying Greenland. And evidently President Trump is trying to buy Greenland now. And people are saying, oh, my God, what in the world is he talking about? I know a decent amount about buying territories because I lived in a territory for a while. I'm still a licensed attorney in a United States territory, the U.S. Virgin Islands, where I took the bar for the first time before I took the bar in Tennessee. And I know, because I dealt with territorial law, that we bought from Denmark the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix, for $25 million in gold in 1917. I don't understand why Denmark would have any ownership stake whatsoever in the state of in Greenland in any way, right? If colonialism's so bad, then let the people of Greenland decide who they want to be a territory of and who they want to be connected to. And I think President Trump is making rational choice here when it comes to potentially adding Greenland is as an asset, given the Arctic Circle is opening and the transgression, the transportation industry and the power of ownership of land there is going to become so significant that I'm not surprised at all about Greenland. Also on Venezuela, good news, 50 million barrels of oil evidently going to be sold. Basically, the United States acting as an agent for Venezuela. We talked all about the raid that took place there, incredible asset of our military. So that is my take there. One very positive story that's getting almost no attention whatsoever, but I think deserves a lot. Crime has plummeted. Crime in this country down around 20%. Murder, the most violent of all crime, down around 20%. I believe murder dropped 32% in Washington, D.C. We are having a record low in many different parts of the country of crime as it is collapsing nationwide. The biggest one-year drop in murder that we have ever seen, according to FBI data. That is a huge positive. Stock market constantly setting new highs. All of this is moving in a very positive direction. All right, I got to do my show with Kelly Stewart. I'm going to pop my earpiece in here now and do that. You can see me right now. I am scheduled to be on Fox Business a little bit later, and then I will also be on Fox News. And I think I'm going to go to a basketball game tonight with my kids. I think I'm going to go see the Vanderbilt game against Alabama. Good college basketball game going on this evening. Memorial Gym, Vanderbilt, undefeated Vanderbilt Commodores taking on the undefeated in the SEC, Alabama Crimson Tide. So I'm going to go watch that game for tonight. I'm excited about that. All of that coming your way. But up next, it's going to be the Fade. It'll be released a little bit later. In the meantime, DBAP unless you need to SBAP. I'm Clay Travis. This has been OutKick, the show.